Impeachment number 2. Hot week.
What?
What's Biden doing? We
Half
don't
of them.
care. That's the beauty of the guy.
We just lost half the viewers.
Welcome.
Listeners.
Welcome.
At least.
Welcome. Mike,
Oh, there he is.
how are you?
Good, man. What a week. I'm still coming down from that weekend performance at the Super Bowl. Gave me all the feels, specifically the feel of underwhelm, disappointment, and rage. So it's hard to come down from that.
So really, he should call himself The Week because it stayed with you for 7 days.
What? All right. So have you read positive reviews of that? Let's just start with this because it's a light topic.
I think there were some positive reviews. I mean, I think the overall consensus was that it was good. I didn't read details, but I thought my barometer was that people enjoyed it. I fucking hated it. I thought it was pathetic.
Well, way to use the stadium and the world stage by like going in a little closet backstage and pulling a Hello Cleveland routine from fucking Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
Also, so halfway through it, I think you saw me texting. And if I don't say so, I impress myself. I was like, the only thing that could save this is his last song. If he somehow, in an artistic presentation, like put up the 500,000 names who have passed away from the pandemic, like they could glow, like it could be done in a very artistic way where it seems more like just a light energy. But if you've lost someone, you could pause it at some point and see your father's name or whatever it is. Or
Sounds like a good upbeat Super Bowl moment.
well, you can go fuck yourself because you too, in 2001, scrolled every name of the deceased from 9/11, of the people killed in 9/11, and it was incredible and moving and weighty and appropriate and bigger than them.
Well, it went faster because you didn't have any of those long Jewish names.
So
You didn't hear
what? Wait, what are we talking
that
about?
they weren't in the building. There were none of them in the building.
Oh, no, I know. And well, they flew the planes, the remote control
Yeah,
planes into
right.
the building. I know. That's true. You always get me on. I always forget that. I don't know. It seems like a weird thing to forget.
Yeah.
So anyway, here's number 2, more positive to your note. Last song, you incorporate a montage of frontline workers in whatever great song you're playing.
Very nice.
Super
Almost
easy.
like maybe like Bring on the Village People because they are all frontline workers.
All right, if you're not going to take this weekend performance critique seriously.
I don't know. Let's do more news from 7 days ago in Sunday papers.
It's the week. We're review. I'm starting on Sunday. Wait till I get to Monday, whatever happened Monday.
Wow. What about that rainstorm we had in LA on Tuesday? Let's get into that a little bit.
It didn't rain. You can't even come up with something that happened this week.
Well,
Actually,
speaking of the Super Bowl, should we talk about the elephant in the living room? The $400 elephant in the living room?
how impressed were you how fast I paid that bet?
Very well done. And how impressed were you that I didn't acknowledge it?
That's why I'm asking right now. How impressed were you with how fast I paid that bet? Literally no acknowledgement till now. Venmo, 400 immediately.
Well, I felt less bad because I think you won some other Super Bowl money to offset it, right?
From you, and you Venmo'd me that. I won 150 because I got those boxes right at halftime. And then, did you see how close I was to getting the full game boxes?
Yes. Yes.
Last drive, I thought Mahomes a meaningless touchdown.
Yeah.
And since it's meaningless, they'll let the extra point guy come out. They're not going to go for 2.
Yep.
And if that had happened, I would have won 200 more.
Yep. And you would have been almost even.
Yeah.
But look, it's been a hell of a season. You know, it's if you're just tuning into the podcast, we bet on every Tampa Bay. I said in August that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to go to the Super Bowl. I didn't predict they'd win it. I just thought they'd get to it. And they did. And so we bet on every game. I gave you the points. If I didn't give you the points, which I shouldn't have, to be perfectly honest, because they were not favored to even break 500 this year.
You're so stupid. What do you mean? The whole bet was about the points. My premise was people are afraid to bet against Tom Brady.
Right.
So the lines created, and I thought the lines are always a little inflated because they want even money on either side of the bet when you're trying to find that, is it 3 points, is it 5 points? And they'll keep raising it until enough people bet on the other team. And it turns out my theory is completely invalid.
As are all of your theories involving money, which we'll get to later in the show.
I don't know about that. All right.
When we hit the business section, we're going to launch a new bet, which will pay off on the 4th of July. It's going to be very exciting. And we may involve you guys. Yeah, let's involve them.
I don't know. There probably is a public setting where people can see our...
I think so. Yeah.
How would we do that? Or we get updated once a week on our website. Do we have one?
I think... Yeah, we got a website.
Oh,
By the way,
cool.
if you want to check out our website, it's sundaypapers.net, not
Oh,
.com.
we got the net, huh?
Yeah, we got the net.
What happened to EDU?
I think some Japanese kid got that.
All right. I do. Hey, I want to jump ahead. How's your mom?
Mom's good. Thank you for asking. I talk about it at length. I talk about my mom at length on this week's Fitzdog Radio podcast, which comes out on Tuesday.
That's right. I forgot. I did listen to that.
No. It hasn't come out yet.
I know. You caught me in a lie. I don't listen to that podcast. I don't listen to this one.
So that'll come out. But she basically, if people don't know, my mom, I got a call 2 days ago that my mom was on her way to the hospital. No, in the hospital. She'd gone for a doctor's visit, and she'd been really tired for a few weeks. She hadn't been eating. She lost like 10 pounds, which is a lot when you only weigh 110 pounds.
Yeah.
And she went into the hospital, and her heart rate was like 130, I think, or 30 instead of it should be
You said
between,
it was low, yeah.
It should be between like 80 and 200 or something. And they were very concerned, so they did an EKG.
I think a resting heart rate is like, 60s on the low side, and I don't think it should be over 90. I don't think, unless you're a little bird.
What if you snort Adderall? Does it go higher?
Well, I did that. All right. I thought that was a private conversation. I experimented, yes, and I snorted Adderall this week, and you know what? It fucking felt great.
Yep. Now, did you have a bag over your head and jerk off while you did it? I mean,
no.
How is this pandemic really affecting you?
Never with a bag. No, I had a script in front of me. It was the worst. I just was, and I'm like, all right, well, I have to take it. I have to take one of my prescribed. We don't take Adderall. What do we take again? Ritalin. And I'm like, and I literally was like, even that is not going to give me. And I'm like, everyone talks about when kids are fucking snorting this stuff everywhere. And I literally am like, I'm just going to snort my pill that I take prescribed anyway. Yeah. And then I Googled, well, what's the difference? And there is a difference, man. You skip the whole ingesting it through your stomach and it goes right into the bloodstream.
Yep.
It's like, I told you that saying, one of the writer's rooms I was in, the little stupid saying was under the tongue, dude. And that was the thing. It's like people would come in the morning like, how'd you sleep? And it's like they would just nod knowingly like under the tongue, dude. And it was because one of the writers turned us on to, you can take even a way smaller bit of Ambien at night if you have to shut off the machine spinning in your head and fall asleep. And instead of taking it and waiting 20 minutes or whatever, you chew it and put it under your tongue. And sublingually it goes, and it is so fast. Wow. And even if it's technically, if someone is going to, if a doctor's listening and they're going to write and say there would be no difference, I don't want to hear it because obviously there's a placebo effect happening and I love it.
Right.
Under the tongue, out.
Same thing with placebos. If you chew up a placebo and put it under your tongue. So anyway, back to my mom. If we can talk about my
God,
mom's,
what happened to her?
So she goes in and they give her an EKG and they go, half your heart is not functioning right now.
What?
They rush her to the hospital. Thank God she got a hold of like the best heart guy in her part of Florida.
Wow.
And the whole time we're finding out about this. This all happened between finding out at noon, and then she got operated on at about 9 o'clock at night. And she got a pacemaker put in, and she was out the next morning.
You mean out of the hospital?
Out of the hospital the next morning, and now she is sore, uncomfortable, but she feels good. We talked for an hour and a half yesterday, and it's amazing. And you change the battery once every 10 years.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
I know nothing about pacemakers, so they go in, but it's not open heart.
It's not open heart. No, they go through your vein in near your collarbone, and they go right inside. And there's two types. There's a dual chamber and a single chamber, meaning it's either on both sides of your heart or one side. She just got it on one side.
Hold on. So I'll sound like now I'm a guy from the 1700s who just popped out of a time machine. So a machine goes through the vein to the heart? That's what they do?
Yeah. Yeah. A fucking machine with a camera on it. I mean,
I know about cameras traveling through our blood vessels. I do know that, and I know about balloons that go through and they try to widen them. But they will is a pacemaker?
Well, the pacemaker
I know it's an electrical charge or something, right?
Yeah, it just goes, the pacemaker itself, which is very small. I think it's like the size of like a thumb drive, smaller, and then that goes under the skin, and then the wire leads to the heart.
Wow.
But she's so sweet, she goes to the hospital and she hates doctors. She thinks they're all trying to rip her off.
Yeah.
And, and we're calling, and me and my brother and my sister and my aunt are all calling because it's all happening so fast. And my mom is the worst communicator. She is so freaked out that she's not keeping us abreast of what's happening. And so we keep calling. So when she checked out, they said, "You are the most popular patient we've ever had. We've never had more people calling." And they said, "And we hate that you're leaving." They're all hugging her. They're like, she just is like, "Oh my God, Greg, the doctor, he would just look in my eyes. He was the sweetest man. And these nurses are angels." Like the whole experience. Here, my mom is the kind of person where if she takes a taxi from her house to the airport, Kennedy Airport, it's 40 minutes. And when she gets out, the driver will get her bag out of the trunk. And then 100% of the time,
go on the flight with her.
We'll go on the flight with her and make love to her in the bathroom. No, he will always hug her every fucking time. And whoever she sits on the plane with, she exchanges numbers with by the end of the flight. She's just, my mom, she's just the greatest.
No, I know. And those people, it's just like at the end of my life, I'm going to be like, why wasn't I more like that?
You are. You're very much like that.
I was about to say you are, but I don't think we're not in that league. We're not in that. No,
we're not. It's a different generation.
Also, we're not. I can explain. I can speak for myself. I have the ability to really obviously bond with someone and all, but usually they have to show me their cards first. Like at a party, and you're not like that. You do your hands above your head. You do your little rituals to get you in that mode, and it's amazing you have that self-awareness to do that, and you let it hang out there more. But I will always wind up with the biggest characters in the room. But why aren't I the one doing that first?
I don't know, but I know that everybody that you've ever worked with that I run into just fucking raves about having had you, mostly as a boss. It's mostly people that worked for you that say you're the best boss they ever had. And I think it's nice how the way you've bonded with your dad's friends over the years.
Yeah.
I think you respect them, and I think you realize that you put the context on these guys. The charisma that your father has and my father has, it's a generational thing. They grew up in the Bronx. You had to be bigger than life to stand out amongst all the people that are, they're still going for the American dream. They're not there yet. They are going bigger. They are ascending. They are, and so there's a way that they had of, being the alpha all the time, but also being very caring about it.
Where did your mom grow up?
The Bronx.
Yes, and both my parents from the Bronx as well. But your mom, has that charisma. Obviously, it attracted your dad, but your mom is hysterical.
Yeah, she's great, and she we'll play golf, And, usually it's the two of us. So when you go to the golf course, they pair you up with two other people to make a foursome. Mm-hmm. And golf is, it's a guy's sport mostly. And I'll come home from the golf course and Aaron will be like, oh, you played with Steve. How's his wife's cancer? And I'll be like, he birdied 4. He hit a 6-iron from like 170.
Yeah.
But we'll get off the course. And again, hugs. Good luck to your son at Michigan State. I think he should do the English major. Knows everything about him.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the guys, the older guys, will hit on her on the course. Yeah.
Well, I'm so psyched that this. Also, the pacemaker, I think, removes issues like kind of problem solved in most cases, right? Like for a while, like
it's 99% effective rate. It's unbelievable. They fucking nailed it.
You said she might have to keep a closer eye on her diet and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not. I talked to her about it yesterday. It's not as bad as I thought. She mostly eats chicken and she tries to eat, vegetables at every meal. And I just think she also has candy bars and shit like that. But, it's not the worst thing in the world. And she has one glass of wine a night, which I think is actually good for your heart.
Yeah, I think yeah. Depending on the year, the studies always just jump back and forth to good, bad, good, bad. It's like cholesterol.
I gotta get her to stop snorting her Geritol, though.
I was gonna say I shouldn't send her. I have extra powder. I have extra grind here.
All right, let's get to it. I spent the morning, by the way, speaking of fucking medical thing, I spent the morning caring for my son and wife, who both work in a doctor's office. So they got their second shot. They got the Moderna shot. I don't know. I've lost track of which is which. I don't want to step on your story. I have heard about the second shots, however. The second shot with Moderna kicks your ass. They were both up all night. Erin was so hot, she laid on the tiles in the bathroom to cool down. Yeah. Naked? Completely naked. Her heaving bosoms. What is she, an IG star already? Naked on tile floors in the bathroom. That sums up Instagram. Yeah, it looked a lot like Fiona Apple's video for Yeah. What is it? Not Trouble. Fuck. I'll get in a minute. Love that song. Not Criminal. And so I was gonna say Outlaw. So she woke up with a splitting headache. They both were I think she might have thrown up, and so I kind of looked after them before I bailed. Didn't affect your erection at all, though, right? To completion. No, the key is you don't need foreplay. When they feel like that, they almost don't want the foreplay. And they just want to get it over much. With. Yeah, already. Yeah. They're ready to go. Why am I saying they? My wife. Oh, I assumed it was both. Oh, God. I know. We're referring to her jugs, man. Yeah. What? All right. So poor sick Aaron. Hold jugs. On. I love that. I also want to bring back pecker. I want to single-handedly bring back the word pecker. I think it's too far. Fun. You pecker. I don't know. I think pecker. I think of a child's penis. It's a little. That's even better. Calling someone a pecker. Yeah. Was pecker wood? Was that also a saying? Pecker wood is what black people call white people. I think you're making that up. Nope. Huh. Anyway. I remember it from, there was a sketch on SNL with Richard Pryor and Chevy Chase where they came in. That graduated to mighty strong language. Yes. Yeah, they came in and he did a word association with them. And he said black. And Richard Pryor says white. And he said colored. And Richard Pryor said honky. And he said Negro. And he said Peckerwood. And then Chevy Chase said the N-word. And then Richard Pryor said dead honky. Yeah, I think it was honky. Yeah. Maybe Peckerwood was earlier. Anyway. I don't remember Peckerwood. How was Owen's reaction to the second shot? Same thing. Up all night, and the arm fucking kills apparently from where you got the shot. Yeah. I told you when I went in for the guy goes, "Oh, you're up for your second
shingles vaccine.
Oh.
And I didn't even remember taking the first one. So this is the thing, listeners. I guess when you're over 50, they now have a vaccine for shingles, which can totally kick your ass for long periods of time if you get shingles. I've never had shingles. So anyway, this is I only go to the doctor in theory once a year. And so this is, who knows with the snorting of the Ritalin now. But anyway, I'll be going a lot more to get more prescriptions. But got the flu shot because I'm only going for my yearly exam. Got my flu shot. And then the guy goes, oh, you're due for the vaccine. Which arm? And so I stupidly think, well, this arm might hurt already. Why not do the other arm? So anyway, fast forward to that night. I can't sleep on either side.
For people that are listening, what's this arm and the other arm? You mean you got it in your right arm?
Well, so I have two arms.
Yeah.
I don't think this story is that hard to follow. So I got it in one arm, and then I stupidly say, yeah, put it in the other arm. I am pointing to my right arm right now.
I gotcha.
And then I couldn't sleep on my side, which is all I do.
Yeah.
I should have loaded up on the one arm. This is fascinating talk.
No, I do that when I used to be shit-faced jerking off, and it would take an hour and 15 minutes. I would switch arms, and same thing. Couldn't sleep, had to sleep on my stomach, which then got all over the sheets.
It's also hard to jerk it when you're sleeping on your stomach.
Yeah, right.
Unless you have one of those milking tables. By the way, did you finish the series Dave?
Yeah, the milking table was hysterical.
One of his obsessions is the milking table.
Yeah. That series is so good. I can't wait there's so many shows that had a great first season, and I'm waiting for the second one, but the fucking Corona shut down production.
Can't wait to talk about entertainment later.
Let's get
I watched the Britney documentary.
Oh, good. I want to talk about that.
I watched this other documentary, and we have a lot to talk about.
Song. Let's give a shout out to Mitch Robinson and the Commodores.
Wow.
Who did a very fucking cool, very cool song. As far as the logo, last week's logo, we must have got more feedback from that than almost any we've ever done. That was the one of Gilligan's Island. That was from Craig Godet.
That's interesting. Okay.
This week's is Eric Chirilanzio.
Which one did we go with?
We went with...
you can just put him in here. How about that?
The logo this week was... it was from the Super Bowl. It was you paying me $400 from the Super Bowl. Did you see that one?
No, I didn't see that. But I don't need to remember that.
I'm sure it'll be up on the screen for those of you that are watching on YouTube, which more and more people are watching, but still not huge numbers on YouTube. But I know nothing about our numbers. How are we doing as a podcast?
We're
doing good. We've grown steadily, but we could use a bump. Tell your friends, people. This podcast should be #1, and we're going to shoot for that in 2021. Tell a friend. Subscribe.
We can't be #1. You can't have a no topical podcast other than maybe the New York Times, the Daily, or whatever. A topical podcast can't be one. You don't have people, although oddly we do have people, because look how topical we've been. But people do go back and listen. We get a lot of mail that says that.
No, well, our producer, Chris Denman, he does a podcast, and he's #1 on Parler.
No, I know. The Magaden?
Yeah.
I think, I think that it's an amazing podcast.
Yeah. And that's topical. That's very topical. It tells you where to go at the Capitol, which doors have been breached. It's very current.
Yeah, he posted. It was really, it was nice to see him, with hard news. He posted just the Republican arguments from the Senate this week.
Right.
Because those were spot on.
Sunday Paper's tackling all the big stories. We will hit Aunt Jemima. We will hit a TikTok user getting chlamydia in her mouth.
Yeah. What else?
But we won't be doing the second impeachment. There is an impeachment of a president that we are not covering on Sunday Papers. You're welcome.
Because Springsteen having a shot at tequila on a motorcycle, pushed it out.
Yeah.
We also have a pretty great Florida man.
Great. 2 Florida mans.
And I'm not even going to explain it. And a little segment that I've titled Florida Maine, We also have a Florida Maine.
Oh, nice.
I can't wait to talk about Britney. And then,
all right, well, let's try to not.
I think we just do this and we say goodbye.
Let's try to not have as many corrections this week. Man, we got hammered. This is from Humor Meter. Just so you know, the PPP program closed last year with $134 billion unclaimed. I think the total they gave out was like $800 billion, and 134 did not get used. And I checked on this, and it's true. So I was complaining. Was this a defense of Tom Brady taking his million? Well, that's my point. Is like, I don't care how many is left over, because that money will get filtered into the next giveaway. It still doesn't excuse Tom Brady taking $1 million. It's the giveaway to the multi-million-dollar corporations, the banks, and all of that. Yeah. And then all these companies that then use it for buybacks to fuck it. Just don't get me started on the stock market. This one comes from Splash Lad. $3 trillion. I knew this was coming. Nowhere. The commitment on my incorrect information is really what stood out last week. Fran Lebowitz and Annie Leibovitz are not sisters. Yes. Not and even spelled the same. The funniest thing was our friend Dennis Gibbons was like, just the conviction. Like, I gave you at least 2 opportunities to back out of that preposterous claim. And you're like, nope. You're like, I was like, I really don't think so. Well, that's the key. That's the key to living in Hollywood. Doesn't matter if you're right, as long as you have conviction. Oh, boy. Danny Theobald said Gibbons said Adam Levine performed last year's Super Bowl halftime show, which everyone hated. J-Lo and Shakira performed last year. Levine was the year before that. How could I forget? Although both years there were pussies right in my face, so I couldn't remember. I got to tell you, we watched the Super Bowl at your sister's house the year that last year with J-Lo and Shakira. That was one of the best fucking halftime shows of all time. That's was fucking sick. I don't need to like someone like this fucking weekend to impress me. So like, I really will never ever listen to like a J-Lo song, not, whatever. Still, props. She knows how to make a stadium feel small. Yes. She knows how to put on a show. Total props. Madonna. Not a huge Madonna fan. Man, did she do a great fucking show. You and the Madonna, yeah. I laughed a little too much during that halftime show at her, but she was injured. I remember. She awkwardly tried to get up and, do something with a chair, I remember. Anyway. There was Dan Somers said it was quite amusing that in your correction segment, when correcting the word mispronunciation, you cited a piece regarding Frau Blucher. The problem being you mispronounced the character's name. Phonetically, it's Frau Blucher. So that's really important that we found that out. Well, why did you even read this correction? Well, the last one I want to get to is not our. It's not our correction. It's Hilaria Baldwin, who the 36-year-old yoga instructor and Alec Baldwin's wife took a moment to apologize for not being more clear about her heritage after being accused of exaggerating her connection to Spain. Quote, "I've spent the last month listening, reflecting, and asking I love these fucking celebrity apologies." Oh my God. Was she talking about Black Lives Matter? Did she just repost her Black Lives Matter sort of reaction to this? And asking myself how I can learn and grow. My parents raised my brother and me with 2 cultures, American and Spanish, and I feel a truce. This is all based on the fact that she speaks with a Spanish accent, having grown up in fucking Boston. Yeah. The way I've spoken to myself and my deep connection to 2 cultures could have been better explained. Yeah, and you could have dropped the accent also. Nah, yeah, como se dice fraud? She was on a cooking show and she held up a cucumber and she goes, what do you call this in America? Yeah. And she vacationed in Spain a few times as a teenager. That's where she picked up the accent. Speaking of traveling, I will be doing some tour dates once the coronavirus ends. On March 25th, I will be in Raleigh, North Carolina. Wow. Philadelphia on April 22nd. San Francisco, Philly. April 29th. Those are all weekend dates, so go to fitzdog.com, pick up some tickets, come out and say hi. Let's do it, Mike. You got a newspaper there? Oh, shit.
No, I could go get one.
Oh, yeah, I got one.
Do you?
Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Extra!
You're going to do them this week. That looks soft, dude.
It's soggy. Wait, let me see if I have a newer one.
Okay, you start the story. I'm gonna go get a newspaper. You start reading Springsteen.
All right, I'm going to read Springsteen.
You go ahead.
So
I'll be
Bruce
back in like
Springsteen, who's my
45
fucking
minutes.
hero, you can see him on my wall behind me, even though it's actually not a great Springsteen drawing, but it was given to me by my brother, who I love dearly, so I put it up on my wall.
Oh.
And anyway, so Bruce got in a little bit of trouble last week. He was arrested at Gateway National Recreation Area in Sandy Hook, New Jersey, and charged with DWI, reckless driving, and consuming alcohol in a closed area.
Fucking rock and roll.
He took a shot of alcohol with fans in the park after taking a photo with them. Then he got on his motorcycle, and apparently the police officer told him to take 40. Springsteen took 45 steps during the walk and turn test instead of the instructed 18. Yes, that's how you become a fucking superstar. You go the extra mile. You give them more than they ask for. That's why he does 4.5-hour concerts. That's why he's got 13 people in his band. You go big or you go home.
Why not keep walking? That's your getaway.
Exactly. Fuck the motorcycle.
Here's my escape route. Just toe to heel in a straight line for 4 miles.
So I don't know why you bust this guy's balls. And first of all, the irony being, of course, he just did a Jeep commercial, which they had courted him for years to do a Jeep commercial, and he finally agreed. And it was very heartfelt. It was very Americana. I forget the message.
But his terms were only if it could be 15 degrees and I ride with the top off because I'm tough and my plugs keep my head warm.
Yeah. And so Jeep pulled the commercial. He did it during the Super Bowl.
What bastards.
Yeah. And, I mean, what better commercial for Jeep than driving while intoxicated? You prove that this thing, it can go over curbs, it can go through bushes, it can outrun a cop.
It drives outside the lines, face it.
Right.
But also, it's just such a... Is it back up now that they found out the details? Because the details... paint a different story.
I think that these advertisers are pussies. You know,
Wait, I stepped away for a minute. Did you read the story?
Yeah.
About he had a shot. He was not driving while intoxicated?
He consumed a shot of Patron tequila, then got on his motorcycle to start the engine. That's all he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And blew a .02, which is 25% of the legal limit?
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is bullshit. It's hard to be a saint in the city these days.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry. I felt like I had to do one song reference.
That's why I left the closet. I thought I gave you the time to get that shit out of your system. So now you have me thinking of other titles that I could use against you. But anyway.
He's born to walk.
Oh, no.
Born to walk a straight line.
Screen door slam. All right. So, all right. Here's the thing. Are you thinking? Is everyone thinking? I don't think I'm alone on this. Obviously, he was very supportive of Black Lives Matter.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that this cop probably doesn't see eye to eye to him.
Oh, I see. I see.
I mean, come on. That has to be. This guy went out of his way to bust him, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Bruce really represents, I mean, he's in the Tim Robbins, Janine Garofalo, like far left camp. He is a mouthpiece for the left, big time. You know, you name a benefit for a liberal cause, he's there.
And he's very supportive of the working man and all that. And what happens is things have gotten so distorted in this country. Like he normally would have been probably incredibly supportive of like the police union. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wonder though, since Black Lives Matter erupted, I wonder even locally what Springsteen has vocalized regarding police.
Right. Right.
Because this seems, if anything, this you think would have been a story reported by the people that Springsteen did a shot with. Like the cop watched him do a shot, got on his motorcycle, or maybe someone else parked in there, and like he's just royalty. If you're Springsteen, you can drive drunk and jerk. Like, you know, I'm surprised it wasn't that. You know what I mean? That cops
I don't know.
are giving
Maybe he was miffed
treatment.
with the homoerotic energy with him and Clarence Clemens on stage. Maybe he thought it was too close for a white man to get to a black man.
Interesting. Okay.
Speaking of black, crinkle that paper, Mike.
Yes. Hold on. Fresh.
There we go. The brand formerly known as Aunt Jemima finally has a new name. Pearl Milling Company. That's the name of your syrup now.
That's a fun name.
Yeah, it was it was founded in 1888 and it is the originator of the iconic self-rising pancake mix. They're going to rebrand it because the origins are based on a racial stereotype. It used to feature a black woman named Aunt Jemima who was dressed as a minstrel character. The image changed over time. They removed the mammy handkerchief at one point. That was a big step.
Yeah.
But they said it perpetuated racial stereotypes from the days of slavery. They said they want to make progress towards racial equality. Well, what better way than giving it that name? Hey, pass the Pearl Milling Company, and can I get another glass of the Newark Orange Processing Plant?
I'm going to call it Aunt Millie. And I'm gonna cut Jemima's picture off and put it on my. I'm gonna refill my old Aunt Jemima with the new Pearl Milling Company contents every week. By the way, you know in that there's 0 maple syrup in Aunt Jemima.
Oh, that's why I said it was made. This shit's got to be made in Newark. You know, when you drive through Newark and you just smell fucking rat poison, and that's where they're making all the food.
It's like ginger ale where there's no ginger in it.
Yeah.
Or so negligible they can't list it in the ingredients.
Or orange drink. When it doesn't say orange juice, if it says orange drink, it means there's no orange in it.
Cheese food. We can go on forever.
Oh, sure. But why not move on to the next one?
Oh, here we go.
3 people who survived on coconuts for 33 days before they were rescued from an uninhabited island in the Bahamas are now in Immigration and Customs Enforcement custody. A helicopter crew spotted the stranded trio waving a large makeshift flag during a routine air patrol. They found them between the Florida Keys and Cuba.
Huh. Were they like, we're here for the fire festival? We paid $13,000 each.
Right.
And there's only coconut water that we have to harvest.
Yeah. How did you see us? Oh, because we don't have anywhere to sleep and we're out on the beach.
Wait, so I didn't hear about this story. I saw it 2 minutes before our podcast here. What how did they get there?
They were Cubans that were fleeing Cuba, and their boat just lost its way and then capsized, and they ended up on this island.
I didn't know that. You said 3 people. I'm not going to assume Cubans when you say people.
Oh, hey now. Well,
no, but it
turns out they were Cuban, but one was a gay professor, one was a talentless starlet, and the other one was a married guy who was a big Trump supporter.
Oh, did the Harlem Globetrotters visit them while they were on this island?
I just love they got rescued. You know, they showed up and to bust their balls, they're like, let's celebrate. We made you some pina coladas. No?
Okay. Yeah.
No?
Honestly, all right. You're a writer on Gilligan's Island, and they come in the door and they're like, you got to work the Harlem Globetrotters into the script somehow. I mean, if you weren't already so close to killing yourself working on Gilligan's Island, like all the technology that the professor has and just the, like, you must ask yourself, like, what? And somehow it worked. But like, what are we making here? Honestly, are they that stupid? Like they're rescued every week, but they blow it. Like, and then it's like the producers hand you the Harlem Globetrotters. I mean, do you even blink at that point? You're probably just so given up. You're like, yeah, of course.
I'm just the opposite. I would fucking love to write on a show that has no parameters, where the network says we can get Pearl Jam next week, and the week after that we can get, Jay-Z. Great. Fucking great. Let's write an insane script that makes no sense, where we don't have a network executive going, I mean, you're the one always complaining about your scripts getting network notes of like, no, it's got to be more believable. The characters have to be more organic.
Like Alf. Remember Alf?
Yeah.
Or
Sigmund and the Sea Monster.
Oh my God.
The
but
Addams
it's
Family.
Like, Alf is going to join, In Sync for a week. It's like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
That didn't happen, but why not?
Why not? Those guys put in a 6-hour workday, and they were hot. The guy who wrote on Alf, wasn't there a movie about him? He was doing heroin the whole time he was writing on Alf.
Yeah. Oh, that guy. No. Yeah. Oh God, I forget his name.
And he was a good writer. He was a very successful writer.
Stiller played him in the movie.
Oh.
Permanent Midnight, something. Yes.
If
Stahl,
our producer
Jerry
Chris
Stahl
Dedman
was Jerry
there
Stahl.
we go, Jerry Stahl. Okay.
I had it, Chris, before you typed it in the script.
All right. By the way, good news on my front. I sold a show this week.
Come on, the grandma one?
Sold the grandma show to TBS. We're going to develop a script with them.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Me and Mike Dugan, my partner, my game show partner.
I love Dugan, as you know. Worked with him.
Dugan's the best. We first met back in '97 when he created a game show that I hosted for MTV. And since then, over the years, we've sold this probably like our third or fourth comedy game show that we've sold. And none of them have gotten on the air, but I got a good feeling about this one, Mike.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love Dugan. We worked together on Spike Feresten's late night show. He's awesome.
He is awesome.
Does this take care of your health insurance?
No, this would be non-union because it's a game show.
I got one of those also in animation.
Yeah.
I mean, boy, the union better not lose its money because huge efforts are being made to crush them.
All right, let's talk about TikTok. Talk to me.
Okay, TikTok. TikTok user, Jermaine Shepherd fan, whatever, went viral after she told people she contracted chlamydia in her lungs from smoking a bad vape cartridge.
That's a really bad vape cartridge.
In October, you got this is her talking. In October, you get super sick with pneumonia, and you try to tell everybody in your family that you felt like it was something more than that. You tried to tell the doctors and the hospitals that it was something more than that. You suffered with a fever for almost 13 days. Nobody believed you. They just kept testing you for COVID, testing you for antibodies, testing you for hepatitis, literally anything. Everything was negative. Finally, it comes back that you have chlamydia in your lungs from vaping and smoking a bad cart.
Somehow the smoke made its way into her asshole, too, which was really weird.
Just be honest with your boyfriend that you're involving the medical community, your family, just like, oh my God. All right. You got this sexually transmitted disease from a plastic vaping thing.
I respect the creativity. I expect the creativity. I mean, it's almost like you ever watch To Catch a Predator and you see when these guys are busted by Chris Hansen and they recognize them because they're predators. Yeah. So they watching To Catch a Predator when you are a predator must be the fucking I wonder if they get off on it, you know? And so they can't. But the excuses they come up with, like, well, what are you doing here to meet this 13-year-old girl? I was just trying to help her out. You know, she said she was having trouble in biology, and, you know, I was good at it. And like the insanity that comes out of their mouths. 13? Wait,
oh, yeah. My computer, sometimes the 3s look like an 8. So that's what went on there. Yeah. Even 18, dyslexia. Though, is too young for me.
Yeah. I have dyslexia. I thought she was 31, which I thought was weird that she has algebra homework. Now it makes sense.
Yeah. Honey, it's not like he came in my lungs. I mean, clearly the chlamydia is from some way that no one's ever caught chlamydia before. I already told you the whole doctors community was expecting that. I mean, no, I know they rejected my claims of it forever until I forced them. Until they just discharged me from the hospital and said, fine, you have chlamydia in your lungs, you lunatic.
Yeah, I wonder if she has to smoke the penicillin, or can she just swallow it, or
she has to crush it up even finer than my Ritalin, and then she has to make it into a cloud and inhale it. She has to shake it in a bag and then stick her face in the bag and inhale the penicillin.
That's fucking great.
Oh boy. All right. Are we moving on to international?
Yeah, it's time for international. Let's go around the world.
That's a fresh paper.
Okay. So as you know, Japan is hosting the 2020 Olympics.
That. Also, I'd love it if they still called it 2020. I love it, and then they could just confuse the year forever. No one knows what year it is.
Yeah, so the guy who is the chief of the Olympics, Yoshiro Mori, is resigning due to fallout after sexist remarks he made at a meeting. He said that, quote, board meetings with lots of women take longer because women are competitive. If one member raise hand to speak, others might think they need to talk too. How fucking great is that?
The white ones.
Who told them they can talk? And how?
Oh my God, this is my favorite story of the week. I didn't really fully take it in. I didn't even write any material on this. I love this.
Yeah, it's great. And the best part about it is no Japanese women can pile on him for this because they would just be proving his point.
Well, right. And also, of course, they took offense, and this meeting is still going on.
Right.
It did become that. This meeting, this poor guy, Yoshiro, is still talking about this meeting.
Yep. And he also said that he took offense to people who are calling him a rugai, which is a Japanese term that's used to imply that the elderly are of no use and, in fact, a hindrance to society. So ageism is fine, but not sexism. I'm tired. As somebody who's 54, who's beginning to feel the footsteps of ageism a little bit, who's finding less meetings for writing jobs. And again, you know, I'm not blaming the white guy thing. I'm blaming age. You know, you fucking age out of this business pretty fucking young.
AIDS? You're blaming AIDS?
Yes. As soon as I had sex with that Haitian dude, I found my career just went down the shitter.
Greg, you only borrowed his vape pen. Yes, you also had sex. That's not how you got it.
No. Once you vape with a guy, things get intimate.
You know what it is? It's like, okay, Roguy, which is the okay boomer.
Yeah, right.
Roguy's literal translation is boomer.
Yeah.
But I fucking love this Japanese guy. First of all, Japanese historically, the corporate culture, please spare me any corrections you guys are going to write me, but the corporate culture, which America was very much exposed to, Japanese corporate culture, in the 80s, when Japan really began an amazing economic comeback and then domination. What we saw in that culture was very little talk, especially from the boss. The boss was a listener, like the quintessential or stereotypical Japanese corporate meeting was a sage, wise CEO at the head of the table, not speaking, just listening. And then you only said what was very important and necessary and essential. And then that was weighed. So you also have that. So this guy, keep in mind, thinks everybody probably talk, especially other countries that aren't as sort of stoically nonverbal as the Japanese culture. So anyway, and then forget you bring women into the equation.
No, in Japan, the misogyny in Japan is pretty bad. They talk about it a lot. You know, women are. I mean, you just watch Japanese porn. And by that, I mean, I watch Japanese porn. And
You research.
And it is so fucking misogynistic. The things that they do to the women and just the men are so gross to them. It's like...
Unlike our porn.
Well, I think our porn women are more aggressive. They're more like there's a...
I get it.
There's a premium on them coming. Japanese women don't come in the porn.
All right, this is going a little deep. This is a deep dive.
All right, it's all on my blog. Or it's all in my blob, I should say.
Can we maybe lighten up the international section by going to Nazis?
Let's do it. German prosecutors have charged a 100-year-old SS concentration camp guard with aiding and abetting the murder of 3,500 people.
Wait, what did she do?
She.
Oh, sorry. I didn't want to assume it was a he. Okay, go ahead.
The charges include the use of the poison gas Zyklon B.
Ooh.
That's a bad one. As well as other shootings in the Sachsenhausen concentration camp.
You nailed it. Don't write any emails. He nailed that pronunciation.
A psychiatrist found the man able to attend the trial, though only for a few hours a day with breaks. Yeah, let's take it easy on the guy. You know, he must be tired after signing all those autographs down in Argentina for the guys with the shaved heads.
That's such a good joke. No joke. Yeah, really. He's exhausted. You know how, ticker tape parade every Wednesday?
Oh, my God. High-fiving guys with swastikas on their necks.
Sign this guy up for a TV show. He must be adorable.
Yeah.
100 years old?
Yeah. 100-year-old Nazi. Jesus.
So he was old. No, what, 20? I guess he was 20.
He would have been born in 1920, so he would be, so he's 100 years old.
He was in his early 20s. Sorry.
He was in his early 20s, in his prime. That's, great age for the Nazis.
So he aided and abetted the murder of 3,518 people. That's a very exact number. They didn't even round it to the 20.
I know. How do they...
The Germans, listen, say what you will, unbelievably fastidious when it comes to paperwork.
Yep.
And the efficiency of production.
Yeah.
And it's 3518. Proudly, they wrote down in 1946.
And it was not like, there were 100,000 people killed at this particular concentration camp. I think that's what I read. It was like 100,000 killed. So he was responsible for just 3,518 of those. So that, it is insane. I mean, they kept records. If you're Jewish and you want to go back and research a relative that died in the Holocaust, you can find out everything about the process, how they were killed, where they were killed, when they were separated from their family members. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's all written down. Meanwhile, good luck with me doing my 2020 taxes. I can't even find taxi receipts. I wish I was German.
Chris is spinning out because, of course, it's a giant conspiracy theory that there even was a Holocaust. We get it, Chris. We get it. We get it.
Right. Yeah, 35-18. That's how many died total in the Holocaust.
All he talks about are the gypsies.
Yeah.
We get it. And we know the gypsies, that's a sad chapter for them also. We get it.
The best part of Sunday papers for some people, Florida man.
Oh, okay. Florida metalhead turns dead uncle's skeleton into a guitar.
Yeah, baby.
One Metal Sucks reader from Tampa, of course, Florida. We should just have Tampa Man. Tampa Manatee, Tampa Man.
Yeah.
Tampa fucking quarterback. Anyway.
How about Tampa hockey team wins the Stanley Cup? Tampa baseball team in the World Series. Tampa football team wins the Super Bowl. It's fucking crazy.
You know what Tampa is? Tampa is a Vegas casino. It has a theme. They're pirates. You know, they have a giant, huge citywide party with pirate ships and everyone dresses as pirates.
You mean rapists? I mean, that's essentially what pirates are, aren't they?
Well, they don't save the raping for one day in Tampa. It's year round, but on this one day, and it's like called like Buccaneer Days, or I don't know. Chris can maybe look it up. It's called it's not Buccaneer Days, but it's something like that. And the whole city, it's like Halloween, and they go crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I used to work.
Really was before these themed like hotels, like. It really is like it's like a vague. It's like and it is like what happens in Tampa stays in Tampa. The most strip clubs right in the country. I think
strip clubs.
Portland and Tampa are rival. Gasparilla, there it is. The Pirate Festival.
And I used to do a club in an area called Ybor City.
Jesus.
And it is like if you took New Orleans and you stripped away all of the class, that's what it would be. It is just people on balconies vomiting on cars that are like lowrider cars. It's every group of people that you don't want to be around. It's rednecks in pickup trucks that have fucking enormous tires. It's Cubans in lowriders. It's fucking like runaway girls in the passenger seat of a fucking car with tinted windows.
Show your boobs. You don't even need beads.
Yeah.
They don't even take that New Orleans little detail of, hey, here's a quid pro quo. You show me your rack, I'm going to throw you some fake plastic beads. You don't even need them in Tampa.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so this guy, whose name, he goes by the name Prince Midnight. Everything about this is perfect. Built a guitar out of his uncle's skeleton. He didn't grind up the bones and make a guitar shape out of them either. Dude just straight up put a guitar neck and some electronics right through old Uncle Philip's rib cage, and that was that. And we have the before and after picture. The before are some guitar parts next to a skeleton of the pelvis and hips all the way up to the collarbone, all the way up to the top of the ribs. Yeah. And then the after picture is those guitar parts right through the rib cage with Prince Midnight, or whatever I just called him. Where was it? Yes, Prince Midnight, and his, of course, cut off gloves and that hair. It's perfectly Florida.
And thank God the uncle was tall so he could get the whole fretboard in there. I'd love to see him at the funeral. Come on, Prince Midnight, we're gonna head back to your aunt's house for some coffee, cake, and cold cuts. And he's like, I'll meet up with you guys later. I'm just gonna hang back and say my final goodbyes. Well, do you want us to take your empty duffel bag with us? Nah, I got it.
We're good. Just leave me with Uncle. Just leave me with my uncle for a couple of minutes, please. Is that is that the femur? Oh, you mean the Wawa bar or whatever those things are called?
Yeah, and he's pissed off. It keeps going out of tune because his uncle had scoliosis.
It's a little, it's easy to get it bending the strings here because he's fucking whacked, dude. That was almost perfect. I slipped a disc though. Can I do that one again? That solo?
I slipped a disc. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You got to see the picture, by the way. Go to the fucking website.
All right. Brings us to another little section I created. I don't have any jokes on this. It just terrified me, and I'm calling this Florida, Maine. So the headline is the U.S. water supply has few protections against hacking. On February 5th, an engineer at a water treatment plant in Oldsmar, Florida, detected that a hacker had accessed the facility's control system and attempted to increase the amount of lye used to treat the water.
Increase? Why is there any fucking lye in the water?
And he increased it to a potentially dangerous level. The control engineer witnessed the tampering as a ghostly hand moved a cursor over his screen, and he reversed it immediately, officials said. But the episode highlighted how few protections are mandated to defend the U.S. water supply.
Jesus, that was a close one, huh?
I mean, first of all, that he happened to be looking at that very second?
Yeah.
I mean, do they have a simple thing in place like, hey, your password was attempted, like even the rudimentary ones we get when someone tries to use our password, like, hey, your lye levels were just checked.
Right.
If you did that, then no problem. No need to even respond. But holy crap.
That is fucking crazy. I mean, with that last break-in, which I guess happened in February of last year, they got into the Justice Department, the State Department, Homeland Security. I mean, we are fucking wired by another country right now, and that country is Russia. And
how about we low-tech it up a bit? Maybe a couple of steps back to manual shit.
Right. Let's get some guys out there turning fucking wheels with their hands.
I'll tell you though, remember after 9/11, everyone was like going crazy with everyone's imaginations were running wild with vulnerabilities like to terrorism. Like, who would have thought planes into the buildings, right? But I remember I think it was the New Yorker, but it might have been New York Magazine. They wrote about the water supply system for Manhattan.
Oh, no. That was the New Yorker. It comes down from Croton in a giant aqueduct that was built in like 1900.
Completely unguarded.
And it is based on gravity.
Yeah.
Basically, they jacked up a pipe to, I don't know, couple 100 feet in the air in Croton, which is an hour north of the city, and the water flows down a pipe through gravity, and it controls a majority of the water that comes to New York City.
And at times there's like it's exposed. It's not. I think at times sometimes that pipe it isn't even like a full 360 pipe. Like you see the water, kind of like in LA. When you drive north of here, you see the water coming. We stole all of the water from the Owens Valley, and you see it running down a mountain. It's like you see this. It looks like a fake waterfall. It is a man-made aqueduct, and the water's racing down it. So I think sometimes it's even exposed.
No, and they said if they were to disrupt it, Manhattan would be unlivable in a week.
I don't even know how it's livable now.
I know. It's a fucking miracle.
Next week I'll try to remember. I think it was E.B. White wrote a book called On New York. And the best part about it was I'm reading it and it's like, oh my God, it's like you read my mind. He's like, just looking at him, he's like, you can't fathom how it works. All the flushed toilets in the morning, all the brushed teeth with water running in the sinks. How does it work at all? And keep in mind, when he wrote about this, New York was, far less skyscrapers than now.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's really interesting. It is true. It's so impossible. And it just takes one thing. But what about even poisoning that water, throwing like unbelievably toxic, amounts, you wouldn't even need that much if it was concentrated.
Yeah.
God, I saw something on Netflix about, it's some documentary series, and it's about spying, and it's about spying, and it's about espionage, and one of the chapters is poisoning, and they go through from way back all the way to the present. And these Russian guys, the guy was poisoned in London.
Oh, yeah.
But one of them was poisoned with a drop. They put it in his, he knew enough to meet in public. That didn't even work. They got to the kitchen and they put in I think it was plutonium, into his coffee or tea. And the drop, the amount of poison was the size of one crystal of sugar.
Yeah.
And he was dead the second he sipped his coffee. He died like whatever, an hour later, but it was all over. But this is how powerful the stuff was. When they traced it, guys in hazmat suits then found like the airplane that they traveled from Russia in, and the seats were glowing.
Oh, no shit.
The guys who poisoned him also completely dead. And
wow.
They showed the hotel room. They showed doorknobs. Everything was radioactive on the way with a sugar pellet worth of plutonium to poison him.
Right. Well, that guy Navalny.
So throw that little pellet. Throw that one piece of sugar in a supply. I don't want to give them ideas. I'm going to stop talking.
No, but I think Navalny was the same thing. The guy that they poisoned and now came back to Russia, and then they threw him in jail. They poisoned him. I forgot how they did it, but it was even more subtle how they got it to him. Somebody will correct us.
I know why. They put dust on his doorknob.
Okay. Yeah.
And his daughter. He was out with his daughter, I think.
Yeah.
In London, they put it on just a little dust on his doorknob.
Right.
No, this will terrify you if you watch this series. Don't watch it.
We always cheer up after Florida Man by doing some entertainment, Mike. I want to go through a few emails we got from you guys. Curtis Wilson said, I wanted to let you guys know about a new movie that came out on Hulu called In and of Itself. It's an amazing movie directed by Frank Oz.
I'm in.
That records the stage performance of Derek Del Guado's New York City one-man show. I heard that's amazing. Del Guadio, yeah.
DD. All right, I'll check that out. In and of Itself.
Trisha says, oh my God, I just finished Tell Me Who I Am. You were right. It was powerful. Evoked a lot of questions. This is the movie about the twins, identical twins.
I know. I'm wondering, should we give it away? I guess we've talked about it enough weeks. Go ahead.
Well, basically, one twin loses his memory after an accident, and the other twin has to decide whether or not to tell him about horrific abuse they underwent as children. And she says, was it more merciful to leave out the painful memories? What a burden it was for Marcus to have to be Alex's memory. He never asked for that job. What was best for him? I strive to help. I guess she's a therapist. I strive to help my clients live an authentic life. I believe that people will always have some sort of pain if they don't. Even though Alex didn't have any memory of the sexual abuse, it seemed that he still needed to experience it in order to be authentic. Can a person truly live an authentic life until they turn over all of the stones? Good question. I mean, would you, if you had been abused? I mean, look, we all feel off. The human condition, for whatever sick reason, makes us all feel incomplete. As the Dianetics people would say, that we have aberrations, that there are things in our past that have caused us to not be self-actualized. Would you want access to a buried memory of abuse if you think that that could help heal you, but knowing you would have to go through the pain of dealing with that trauma? What would you do?
Probably avoid it. Look how old I am.
Yeah. I think there's an under-over on the age, whether you want that trauma. Maybe it's 25.
Because I'm having fun. I'm not debilitated enough, but here that's the issue for me. So Trisha goes on to say, the last sentence you read there was, can a person truly live an authentic life until they turn over all of the stones? But to what extent do they have to turn them over? So my question would be, but what if you don't know there's a stone? So what happened in this documentary, and this is why I love this documentary, because it raises these issues, and I just think it's the best conversation starter, is so these two twins, after their mom died, are going through her stuff, and they find a disturbing photo of both of them naked, also with their heads cut off. And so what happened was he turned to his brother Marcus, and this is Alex, who has no memory before 18, except that he has a brother. Didn't even remember the mom. So Marcus,
the only person he remembers in the world is his identical twin brother.
And so his brother has to fill him in on everything about life and then leaves that out. But he turns then to his brother and goes, "Were we abused?" So that's a different philosophical question. Like, what do you do then? That's what she's asking. Because now he's aware that there are stones that are not overturned.
Yeah.
And now he's aware that, so I agree with her. But the more interesting...
also, was he feeling trauma? Was it just the picture, or did that picture make him feel feelings that were starting to come up and he wanted to deal with them?
I don't know, because usually when that's the case, it's not an external stimulus. It's not an external trigger. Usually it's percolating organically, like you'll have a dream. You'll space out. You'll have an adverse reaction to something that's neutral. In other words, not a photo of you naked.
Yeah.
So usually you're again, kind of like based. I studied all this, believe it or not, in graduate school, and then I did that paper on Silence of the Lambs. Basically, it's, as Freud lays out and a lot of psychiatrists lay out, your body will let a memory that you have buried, repressed, it will let it percolate when it knows you can start to handle it. And usually that's not a switch where it's 100% I can handle it. So they're disguised. They're dreams. All of a sudden
they're metaphors.
All of a sudden you become obsessed with cigars or whatever it is because you had the cock in your mouth when you were a kid. So whatever it is, your body has a regulator. Your mind has a regulator on it that is, in theory, administering doses that it thinks you can handle.
Right.
And,
I had memories of childhood stuff that was almost abuse, like several memories. Like when I was about maybe seven or 8, there was this kid named and his father was a French ambassador to the United States. And his brother,
above the law.
We used to wrestle in his room with his older brother. His older brother was like 16.
I don't like where this is
17,
going.
and he used to grab my penis. And he didn't it didn't get beyond.
All right, get to the almost abuse part, which is about a minute ago.
But it wasn't like, it didn't make me feel anything abusive. It didn't
Especially
make me
after
feel.
I came.
I didn't. Ooh, merci beaucoup.
Oh, Jesus.
So it was. Now, say the name right now.
Wait, why would you say the name right now?
Why, am I going to get sued?
I don't know. It sounds like his dad's powerful. And
let's
course you
bleep
can.
out the name. Let's bleep out the name.
Of course you can get sued, especially you making this bullshit up.
No, I remember he would tickle me and he'd grab my penis. And then
walk me through that. He would tickle you. Why was your penis out?
It wasn't out. No, he just grabbed it through my pants. He would tickle me and he'd grab my. So it wasn't like, I wasn't fucking, laying prostate in the shower crying.
Oh, he's French. That's a handshake.
Yeah. I think that's all it was.
Now, did he grab it with his mouth?
What did Chris Denman call it again earlier when you grab somebody's cock in a friendly way?
A low five?
No, Chris, what did you call that?
Oh, did he really call it something?
Oh, ringing the bell.
Oh, ring the bell.
Yeah.
I think it's when you grab someone's balls.
But then another time I was at my friend who lived in the projects, and he lived above a bodega. and his brother
A
Hector.
bodega is feminine.
His brother showed us a porn movie for the first time, and this is how old I am. It was on a fucking reel-to-reel projector, and he showed us a movie. And then I got an erection, and I was only 12. I got an erection, and his brother, who's now in jail, by the way, for cocaine trafficking, started grabbing my dick and hey, you like that? You like that?
Wow.
So it wasn't molestation, but it was really on the edge.
Yeah.
Well,
and as we've already said, this is what your brain is allowing you to remember now.
That's right. I don't remember the second reel of the movie.
Yeah, it turns out, there's a couple of like hidden meanings in there. Like, for instance, it wasn't these made up foreign guys in the projects and the French guy and all that. It was your uncle, and he had a reel-to-reel theater, and you were fucking tossed off in there every weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember anything after I come, so I mean, I'm at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
This one comes from. Oh no! Let's talk about Britney. You saw Britney.
So I watched it in preparation for this podcast.
Framing Britney Spears on FX.
All right. So, did you see it?
No, my wife doesn't want to see it because she thinks it'll be too depressing. I'm dying to see it. I had the biggest fucking crush on Britney. I still do. I find her so attractive. There's something about her because she's strong but vulnerable at the same time. She's got amazing feet.
Oh, geez. Well, you'll see, obviously, I mean, it was like she was this really, really cute and very sexy. Like, she had a charisma. She just really like popped, and she was like singing in malls, and she went from singing in malls. She was singing Oops, I Did It Again, I think, or Hit Me, one of her hits in malls. And then within months, it's global.
No shit.
No. I did not know that part. And so it happened really fast. But of course.
But wait a minute. She had already been a Mouseketeer.
Yes, I know. But then she was back and had a normal life for 2 years in high school.
Oh.
Which I didn't know about that chapter either. Like, they have pictures of her. I think she was a cheerleader, like, whatever. They had pictures of her in high school, attending high school, which I didn't think she...
Was she
I
hot?
think most Mouseketeers, which include Timberlake, Christina Aguilera, there's a lot of them, believe it or not. I don't think they ever go back to normal high school. I could be wrong. But anyway...
Mario Lopez, wasn't he one?
Oh, maybe. That's perfect. That's perfect. So anyway, anyway, I didn't know that it jumped to fame that fast. And then, so of course, what do executives do? Like, I don't know how old she is. Is she 16, 15? Mm-hmm. Like, let's super shorts, get her tits hanging out, put her in like a completely sexualized schoolgirl outfit for all the creeps out there.
Yeah.
And it really was.
Wow, you just fucking outed me.
It really was No, it's not your fault. They completely sexualized someone who was way too, like, it. When you step back, you're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not what the documentary is about. I won't talk much about it because you didn't see it, but I'll make it easier for you and Aaron to watch. I was very unimpressed. This is the New York Times, and it was really no more than a chronology. And the people, the talking heads they would interview are like former blogger, like, and here's one of her dancers. Like, how about hard-hitting psychiatrist?
Yeah.
Like to talk about what was going on. And then I saw a guy I got to know. So on Ferriston, Spike Ferriston, which Dugan and I worked on, we talked about earlier, Spike had a very well-known bit for his show called Idiot Paparazzi. And we'd run around with real paparazzi. And then, of course, we'd find lookalikes. We would just organically, we'd be like, whatever it is, like Britney, if it was some like older woman looking really run down. It was a very mean bit, but we'd use real paparazzi. And Dano was one of the paps that we used. And Dano was super famous because he is the guy that Britney attacked with the umbrella.
Okay.
When she was bald. And I think it's the picture it's the most expensive picture ever, like of ever taken of Britney. And what you do is you see the behind, you see what was going on. And of course, it's one of those things like Amy Winehouse, you're almost totally on her side.
Right.
Now that you realize the other side of the story of the photos you had, and I was in late night and I was making fun of Britney also. And, but I was expecting a much more effective documentary. I'll watch it again maybe, but it really is just a glorified timeline kind of.
How many parts is it?
One part.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Justin Timberlake in the wake of that special, and I think something happened with Janet Jackson, but he came out and apologized, and really a very woke apology with all of the earmarks of, I'm part of the white male patriarchy, and I apologize for how I've used that power. And he's very, and I think it's actually very sincere. I mean, I think did he come up as sort of like a perpetrator of that in this documentary?
Okay, here's the thing.
Because he basically, they broke up, and then he made his bones by writing lyrics shitting on her.
So I didn't know that. I didn't really care about these two or their music at that point. And, both of them in their blue jean top and bottom thing with, I think they showed up to the MTV Awards in that. Anyway, I wasn't into any, I was the furthest thing from their music and all that. And so I didn't really follow that. And, but he probably needed to say something because he looks like a piece of shit in this documentary.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And by the way,
can
really
he also apologize for Social Network and NSYNC, or is it just Britney?
Yeah. He does not. Yeah. He did what I hate Taylor Swift about. Like, so you're just going to write vindictive things about your exes?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also, she was sticking to that she was a virgin, Yeah. And then he's like, I fucked her.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
I
might have, if I did, I might have mentioned it.
And then, but imagine flipping that, you know what I mean? Like if he really was very religious and claiming all this, and it goes like, no, I fucked, like, it's like, no. It's bad form all around.
Right. All right, let's get to this Apple TV Plus. What is this story? I haven't read this. Okay. Oh, he was a Mouseketeer, Mario Lopez. Ooh. Mario Lopez, I think it is.
Ooh, it's an Mouseketeer. Apple TV.
By the way, have you ever... I spent a lot of time in hotels, and every fucking hotel, you turn it on, and then it defaults to like the hotel channel, and it's Mario Lopez plugging the movies that are on the channel, and you just say, Mario, why do you not suck on a pistol? Look at your fucking life. Look at your career. Look at how empty and vacuous and phony, and he is the fucking worst.
No, but he's also like just this robot with his big smile and dimples. Like, what do you want me to read? Okay, and in theaters this week. Oh, this movie's great. You should see this. It's like, it's just this talking robot. Speaking of which, Apple TV Plus is developing a murderous sex robot movie. I love following this sex robot development and all of AI, obviously, but this is interesting, I thought. So Dolly is the name of this project, is inspired by a short story from Elizabeth Bear that first appeared in Asimov's science fiction in 2011. So the story follows a billionaire who is killed by a sex robot, forcing police to determine whether the robot was the murder weapon or the actual murderer. The bot then shocks the world by asking for a lawyer and pleading not guilty in the ensuing court case.
Got it.
I think it's fascinating.
I mean, it's the future. That's not that far out of the ballpark.
Yes, Chris just put down Ex Machina, or however the hell you pronounce that.
Oh my God, what a fucking great movie that was.
That movie was very smart.
So smart.
It had to be. It was about AI. It was about things that are smarter than humans. So, but this is an interesting, and we're fast approaching where we're going to have to deal with issues like this. Like, it's almost like the robot has to be put down.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's almost like a bear who got a taste of flesh, human flesh, and you're like, yeah, that bear can't unlearn that. You got to terminate that bear.
And they're all connected to the internet and Bluetooth. And if Russians can hack the water supply in Florida, what's to say? And in 10 years, think about how fast technology moves these days. Think about how fluid things move on the internet. Think about the fact that these robots every year are getting more sophisticated. Okay, in 10 years, we've all got robots. And in 10 years, the Russians decide to program them to fucking destroy us. I mean, that's not that far out.
I know, but it's so much scarier than that. There's a trailer of some movie and it was terrifying, but you think of a robot and you're thinking of a dumb human form, with stupid fucking legs and
right.
arms. It's like this one movie they were flying bugs.
Yeah.
They were the size of like a horsefly, and they can read facial expressions. And you're like, the guy we want to kill is in that stadium. Just set the horsefly into the stadium. The horsefly finds the guy and kills him immediately.
No, look at drone use. I mean, why send in soldiers when you can send in a drone?
Right.
That has eyes. You can sit in a fucking bunker in Arizona and have eyes on a fucking a building in Afghanistan and take it out. And then just fucking vanish with no trace.
Or send a swarm in, and the only directive is kill everything that's breathing.
Right.
Go into this city, you swarm of those are the real murder hornets.
Speaking of sci-fi, me and the wife just watched the series Watchmen, which I had won all the Emmys last year. And we watched it, and I get it. I get why it got all the Emmys. This is a fucking masterpiece.
I have to revisit it. I watched the first episodes of it, and it was good. I just have to go back to it.
I mean, it's not easy. It's you got to work. Put it this way. Normally, me and the wife will sit on the couch. If it's a Friday night, we will watch 3 one-hour episodes of a show. No problem. This one...
Naked on the bathroom floor? Do you bring an iPad in there?
Naked on the bathroom floor, snorting Adderall. It is very intense. We watch one episode, and then we just watch about 4 Curb Your Enthusiasms after that to come down from it. It's complicated, it's intense, but the acting is fucking amazing. And the structure, the story structure, as a writer, it finishes, and you feel like you are a fraud that this can be written this way.
Right.
Anyway, watch that, check it out. And then what did you watch this week?
Well, I told you last week about Fake Famous. I think that was interesting. I think you and the kids should watch that.
Still got to watch that.
It's one of those, cautionary tales about, just yet again, what you're seeing online is not real. I guess it could fall under that banner.
Yeah.
After Whitney, I watched this new thing called on Netflix, Crime Scene, and I guess it's a series, but this one is The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. So, do you know about this?
No.
There's a hotel down in downtown Los Angeles that is so infamous for suicides and murders. It's almost now there's a dark tourism about it. But before that, just very organically, it has the craziest history and stories. And there was this this Asian woman from Canada who came down here on her own. She was 21 years old. She got permission from her parents to visit Los Angeles. She's in the hotel. She vanishes. It becomes a huge case. This is in like 2013. And they found the spookiest security footage of her in an elevator that's not moving. And it looks like she's talking to someone outside. And then she does these weird movements. Anyway, I don't want to give anything away. You should watch that. It's pretty good.
You had me a 21-year-old Asian girl.
Okay.
And then I
watched Team Foxcatcher, but it reminds me a little bit of that.
So great.
That Jim Gaffigan routine, which is like, ever watch a movie that's been out a long time and it's like, and you want to talk about it with people like, hey, have you seen Heat? It's like, yeah, like 6 years ago. And he's like, but I want to talk about it now. That's how I feel with Foxcatcher. I watched Foxcatcher just because it came up like on my queue or whatever. And then I immediately went to watch the documentary on it. And what a complete lunatic.
What a lunatic. And what a performance by Steve Carell.
Amazing.
I mean, you talk about comedic actors that can do drama. You know, people like Jim Carrey and even Belushi did some. But holy shit, is he good?
Oh, no, I know. Well, look at like Better Call Saul. It's all comedians.
Right.
Playing the heaviest roles, you know?
Right. Look at
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams. Look at who's the guy from Home Improvement?
Oh yeah, Tim Allen.
Tim Allen. I mean, his sitcoms. The fact that he does drama during sitcoms and doesn't go for laughs, really.
Yeah,
that's restraint.
That's real restraint. He must be tempted constantly to say something funny, especially in a multicam, but nope, he just...
Now, when I hear he really digs in, he'll go into the writer's room after a taping and go, guys, you gotta fucking step up and stop taking the easy way out with jokes.
Right.
You're deflecting. You're deflecting.
I also saw Mank. Did you see Mank?
Did see Mank.
What'd you think?
I thought it was one of those movies that says we're going to win somebody an Oscar. It doesn't say we're going to make a coherent story that moves. It becomes a showcase, like Apostle with Robert Duvall. It didn't work.
I thought it lost its way also. I also resented, whatever. In college, that's where my love of Citizen Kane began, and I did a paper there. And then since then, I knew Pauline Kael tackled that issue, the big mystery of how much of Citizen Kane did Orson Welles write? Like, should his name have been on the script even at all? And the overwhelming evidence is yes. He had a huge, obviously, he was the star, the director, and, the originator of the whole project. But he had a huge hand in writing it also. And they've studied the drafts, some of them even inconclusive, but also how different the final draft was, even from what wound up on screen.
Well, you should say rewrite. He rewrote it. Right.
He rewrote what was first from Mank, a 300-page script. And so I kind of also was like, I really wanted to see that part, and it's the last scene of the movie, and they don't even go to it.
Right. No, Act 3 had problems. Act 3 went on forever, and nothing happened.
I wish Mank could have written Mank.
Right.
I wish Orson Welles could have written Mank.
All right, let's skip sports this week because we already covered the big bet.
You got
and go to. Should we do science?
Yeah, but nah. How far along are we? Yeah, we're pretty far along here. No, let's save it. You want to go to business?
We got to go to business because we have to announce the bet is on. We have both joined Investopedia. which is a site that allows you to do a fantasy stock portfolio, basically.
Okay.
And I've already bought. You get $100,000 on it. I've purchased 20,000. It doesn't start till Monday. I put in the order. It doesn't officially buy it until the market opens on Monday. Did you buy any stocks yet?
So last week you saw these 4 ticker symbols I put in here, right?
These were your predictions from last week,
Yeah.
right?
So Saturday, this exact, you copy this into the new doc. Those were the 4, and then I said, all right, don't tell them because I haven't bought it yet, like in other words, not that we have all these listeners who would buy it, but so then I was going to buy them Monday morning when the market opened, and I think I sent you the text. Jesus, did I call it? So I still haven't bought them because they went up so much. They opened so much higher Monday morning. All right, here, I'll find it.
One of them was up 20%. One was up 18%.
Here it is. Too bad I couldn't buy the 4 stocks I listed on Google Doc over the weekend. Here's what they're up today. You ready? So here's the symbols. HIMX. When I wrote you at 9:56 a.m. on Monday, that's Pacific time, it was up 18% that morning. The other ticker symbol, LCTX, was up 12% that morning. CTRM was up 22% that morning. And then CRIS, the only one that feels like a stock I would buy, was down 2% that morning. So,
wait, and now tell people where you got these stock tips. It's hilarious.
From my lunatic friend who is in the Reddit army and Craig and no, sorry.
No, you overheard the guy at the next cubicle.
Sorry. CTRM, which was up 22%. And then it kept going up this past week. And then it went down like 15% on Friday. Still haven't bought it, though. So that's the lunatic friend. The other 3, this old guy sits next to me in another glass enclosed office at a WeWork type thing. It's called Spaces here in Santa Monica. So in my office, there's a guy, and he just talks with his loud New York Jewish accent on speakerphone. And it's so loud I have to put headphones on, except I take the headphones back a little bit when I hear him say, hey, I got a tip. And so he listed HIMX, LCTX, and CRIS. He listed those as fun.
Yeah.
They're little stocks. Some of them I think might be a penny stock. And he listed those, and I, of course, wrote them down and have kept an eye on them. And I did buy one of them in real. I think I bought HIMX, I think.
All right. Well, our competition begins on Monday morning at the opening of the stock market, and whoever makes more money between now and July 4th wins $100 from the other guy. And we are inviting you guys to also be in the competition with us. So go.
What do you get, 100,000?
You get $100,000. Go to Investopedia. It's a little tricky finding the fantasy game, but it's the one that's just called like No End to 2020. Wait, hold on. I'll look it up so people know exactly what it is.
We have to get on this. So I signed up, but I think it's just for me. Yeah. I get an imaginary 100,000, and then I would track my progress, like something I could do like with your kids. Like that's the idea. What's the public one?
You scroll down. It's not when you get to the homepage, scroll down until you see one that says Stock Simulator, and just click on Get Started, and it'll take you to a page where you create an account. It takes 5 seconds, and then you just hit trade. There's a trade button, and you enter the stock symbol of any stock you want, and you get to play with your $100,000. I have to look into if you can all get on the same page and compete, but if you just take a screenshot of your page when you start your account and send it to us so we know what date you started, and then on July 4th we will give $100 to whoever does best out of all of you. we will pay $100
I spaced
down.
out. What?
You and
What?
I are
What?
we're each going to put in $50, and we're going to give it to whoever makes the most on Investopia between now and July 4th.
The advice that anyone who knows me that I should be giving myself is I should just not invest $100,000 and have $100,000 at the end of this.
There was a parable in the Old Testament about a father who had 3 sons, and he had a fortune, and they
Should
all
I still
stood
be
in,
listening? I already checked out. Go ahead. What?
and they all stood to inherit this money, and he said, "I will give each of you X number of shekels." Might have been Jewish. And he said, let's see what you do with it. So one guy gets nervous. One guy invested heavily. He starts his own businesses. He runs his own businesses. The second guy just invested in the stock market where he's got a fixed gain. He buys bonds. The third guy buries it in a field, does what you would do. And the moral of the story is the father then hears what each of them did, and he gives all of the money to the guy who went out and invested it and ran businesses. And then they killed Jesus Christ.
Well, it was a 2-part plan. Yeah, it was pretty good.
That was the sequel book.
I'll tell you what else I'll just put it out there. Full disclosure. I'm also looking into, I think you're going to join me on this. I think all the research, and it's getting very close on mushrooms as therapeutics.
Yeah.
And so I think everyone who wants to do the weed thing is already so expensive. Like you've missed
it's overpriced.
kind of the boat. I think the mushrooms, psilocybin, whatever it is, I think that's next. So there's one TRYP. It's a penny stock. I think that's out. But anyway, I just started to look into this. And again, most people should do the opposite of what I'm doing. But I'm going to add that to this portfolio also. I think I'm going to win. So do I win your $50 if I'm the top guy?
You mean out of all the listeners?
Yeah, I'm going to win this thing.
Oh, okay. If you beat all of the listeners, I will give you $50 on top of the $100 that you would have won from me.
Oh, yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah, I want that as well.
My
I
picks,
do very well in the stock market when it's imaginary.
My picks right now is I bought gold, I bought Amazon, I bought Tesla, and I bought Moderna. And I spent $20,000 of my $100,000, and I'm going to buy more on Monday morning.
So you bought Moderna. You're like, anything that would get my wife naked on the bathroom floor?
Correct.
I'm investing in.
Yes, I'm also investing in roofies. All right, listen, let's move along. Let's move along. So go to Investopia, take a screenshot, send it to fitzdogradio@gmail.com, and you will be entered. And I'll let you do it. We have until Wednesday the 16th. To
what
get
do we
them
have
to
till
us.
Wednesday?
Everybody has till Wednesday to send me their Investopia screenshot.
I don't get it. Meaning that means that they're in?
That means they're in, and then they'll send us another screenshot on July 4th of where they're at.
Oh, I see. But and everyone can change their investments as much as they want.
They can do whatever the fuck they want for this 6 months or
All
whatever
right, I
it
gotcha.
is.
Okay, we can skip the other ones. Next week, though, we should talk about that 90-year-old man. He spent $10,000 on 2 ads in the Wall Street Journal just to say his AT&T Wi-Fi sucked.
How much have you fantasized about that in your life? And the president of AT&T, their spokesperson, immediately got in touch with the guy.
Yes.
That's
and
fucking
by the
great.
way, I would do that if the FU money, or if you have just money, maybe you don't have kids. It's like, why wouldn't you take out, because those billboards will make news. Like if you took out a billboard in LA just about whatever your gripe was,
Yeah.
that would get press.
What would happen if we took out a billboard for Sunday papers and put it on Sunset Boulevard? Do you think it would increase our listenership?
This is the most I ever referred to Spike Feresten's show that Dugan and I worked on. We were told, we asked them, they're like, well, there's a billboard budget. We're like, what? And typically in LA, so you guys know what happens, like, you know, with my sitcoms and stuff like that, like, and you probably have this with whatever specials you did on Comedy Central. sometimes the company, almost just to please the people involved in the show, buy a billboard just in Los Angeles. And I remember, like, you know, when Corden was launching, they bought the billboard that was across from CBS where Corden drove every day and parked his car.
Oh, no, it's a total ego stoke. It doesn't do anything for ratings.
Comedy Central has a billboard, and it's at right where Sunset makes that turn by Doheny. And up there, they will put, like they put the Ben show up there when I was involved in that, and it was up, I am not kidding you, for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, right.
And then the next Comedy Central hour that was was put up there. So anyway, they talked to us about a billboard, and we're like, wait a minute. We're like, there was some budget, and we're like, how about this? We're going to do a thing on the show. We're going to buy the cheapest billboard we can find in the middle of nowhere in like Kansas. And then we'll have a contest. We'll eventually make the picture wider and wider and wider. Can anyone guess, or has anyone seen this billboard? And that was a big thing we planned. But we really did get a billboard in the middle of a cornfield.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And it was cheap.
Wow. There was a woman in LA, and this is before social media and social influencers. Do you remember the woman? And she had a pink Cadillac and big platinum hair, and she put herself up. She had a super wealthy husband,
of course,
who was a lot older, and she used to put up billboards of herself.
Wasn't it?
She put up billboards of herself, and she was this like big icon
going
in Hollywood. Is she
still going? Yep.
Yeah.
How about this? Why don't we look into the cheapest billboard, and we'll just put it in why not put it in the middle of nowhere?
And let's get the listeners to pay for it. We'll do a You Fund Me or whatever those things are called.
Yeah, sure.
You guys are into that, right? We're asking a lot of you guys this week. All right, listen, let's get to this day in history.
Okay.
It's Valentine's Day. We forgot to mention that. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day.
Are you going to give anybody a Valentine, Mike?
I'm going to give you one, I think, when I see you in a couple of months.
I'm sending flowers to my mom. I got my wife a card, and I'll get her some flowers.
Sounds like a lot of planning for the day of, but okay.
Well, we're taping this the day before. I'll get it done.
Oh, you have a lot of time. You have a lot of time.
On February 14th, around 270 A.D., Valentine, a holy priest in Rome in the days of Emperor Claudius II, was executed. Under the rule of Claudius the Cruel. That's a fucking good name. I wonder if he got that on his license plate.
Yeah.
Rome was involved in many unpopular and bloody campaigns. The emperor had to maintain a strong army, but was having a difficult time getting soldiers to join his military leagues. Claudius believed that Roman men were unwilling to join the army because of their strong attachment to their wives. To get rid of the problem, Claudius banned all marriages and engagements. Valentine, realizing the injustice of the decree, defied Claudius and continued to perform marriages for young lovers in secret. When he was discovered, he was arrested and dragged before the prefect of Rome, condemned to be beaten to death with clubs and then have his head cut off. Sentence was carried out on February 14th. Legend has it that while in jail, St. Valentine left a farewell note for the jailer's daughter, who had become his friend, and signed it, "From your Valentine."
Wow.
Yep.
I want to see a documentary about this.
Isn't that cool? Is that not badass? I mean, think about trying to get a standing army when all they're doing is fucking going into war. No, there's no fucking tanks. There's no craft services. All you got is a club and an asshole telling you to fucking run into a town where they've got arrows and lava and all this fucking shit. How do you get guys to show up for work?
Yeah. Well, they stole a little chapter out of the Roman Catholic Church because, that's why, and I'm sure there's conflicting stories about this, but, that's why priests don't marry is
right.
The church was, losing real estate because the priest would die and then his wife and kids would stay in the house, which was the church's house, and they had to wait till that bitch died.
Right.
So they're like, yeah, you know what? You guys are going to be married to God from now on. And to relieve yourselves, you just put it in boys' buttholes.
Yeah. I know. They don't get...
Which was a weird edict, but they all had to follow it. Then they all did.
Yeah, they end up not giving the estate to the wife and kids, but they have to give it to the fucking altar boys that they raped.
Yeah, very begrudgingly. They desperately try to cover it up. But what's up with the punishment? You're going to be beaten to death with clubs and then have your head cut off.
Yeah, yeah.
Seems like a little... that seems like a hat on a hat.
Well, yeah, and that's when when you're getting beaten and you're like, guys, can you please just cut my head off?
Why are you waiting till it's completely ineffective to cut my head off?
Well, because really beating somebody is not so much about the pain you're experiencing at the time. Psychologists say it's the waiting for the pain that you know is coming, and then it's the memory of the pain. And it's like, look, dudes, I'm not going to have a memory of this. I'm fucking dead soon. You're wasting your time.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
All right, Mike, you're fading. We're going to skip letters to the editor.
Don't put it on me. I can snort some drugs now if you wanted me to. All right.
We are going to go to an obituary real quick.
And that's all, folks.
Leon Spinks, heavyweight champ in 78 after beating Ali. Holy shit. He also won gold in the light heavyweights in the Summer Olympics in Montreal. Were you really?
I have a picture. My dad, God, was I 9, 8? He brought me to Montreal. He brought me to the Montreal Olympics.
Wow.
There was a guy there called Bruce Jenner.
Yep.
I'm fucking dead naming him right now. Dead naming her, I guess.
Yep.
But it was Michael Spinks, Leon Spinks, Sugar Ray Leonard, like unbelievable year for U.S. boxers.
Roberto Duran.
I'm not a U.S. boxer, but I am forgetting other really big names that were in those Olympics.
And Spinks is from St. Louis. We just heard from Chris Denman, who is from St. Louis as well.
Yeah, he went to one of those super fancy boarding schools in St. Louis. I think the Spinks brothers
yeah, sure.
went to the Mary Institute for Boys, whatever that is. But by the way, one of the reasons we probably were able to get boxing tickets is there was quite a draw to gymnastics that year because this little lady was getting 10s. And Nadia Comaneci.
Yeah, from Romania.
From Romania. The first time I think people were getting... she was perfect. And
yeah, she was the perfect 10. I remember it was on the cover of every magazine.
Huge story.
I remember it just said perfect on Newsweek. Yep. Yeah. But this guy, Spinks, fought, ready for this? As a light heavyweight, his record was 178-7 with 133 knockouts. He fought, before he was a pro, he had 178 fights. I mean, and Spinks, have you ever heard him speak as an adult? He is fucking out of it.
But I loved both Spinks brothers. And yeah, Chris just put up a quote. When he beat Ali, he's like, he's still the greatest. I'm just the latest.
Yeah.
There. Now, why couldn't the Weeknd think like that a little more? Like, you know what? Maybe fucking do something that's not all about you. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, right. His professional career, he was 26-17, which is not great. That's a lot of times of getting fucking beat up.
Yeah, but I wonder what he was before. All those boxers they rack up those losses after staying in the game too long.
Right. He also wrestled in martial arts in the 90s, taking the world title. But then he struggled in later years. He worked as a janitor. Jesus, can you imagine?
I always think about that. Like when I was a little kid, whether it was Peyton or Earl Campbell, you're just like, oh my God. And they're amazing. And you watch these guys and especially back then, it was still just a profession. You know what I mean? Obviously, it was a well-paid profession, but it wasn't like, oh, you're set for life because you're a star in the NFL.
Right.
Far from it.
Yep.
Like, what about just little GoFundMes for those guys? We're like, hey, thanks for being, here's a few bucks, but if everyone did it, and it's like, here for wow, you really, Sundays in my childhood, were pretty amazing at times because of you.
Yeah. Well, there's this group called Comedy Gives Back that our friend Zoe Friedman runs.
Yeah.
And they basically, comedians all kick in money, and it takes care of the comedians that are indigent and have run out of money and are struggling. And so that's what the boxers should be doing. These guys that are making, $50 million a fight, how about you peel $1 million out of that and fucking throw it into a fund with the other 20 guys that are making money and take care of these guys?
Totally. Or buy Tyson another tiger, something.
Tyson was broke too, man.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Pigeons don't make, raising pigeons does not pay the bills.
No, it does not. All right, let's get to the Sunday funnies.
Good Lord, y'all. Oh, sorry, hold on. And then, yes, sir.
All right, I just got a quick one. I went back into the archives a little bit for some fun old ones.
Okay.
This one is a picture of Andy Capp. His wife is on all fours scrubbing the floor. Andy has his foot on her ass and he's tying his shoe. And she's got a look on her face like, fucking Andy.
She's not even furious. It's like an eye roll.
Oh, that's fantastic. Let's get to the Lockhorns.
I could have put it in your face.
The Lockhorns, who are also a couple that struggles with their vows. And Leroy's getting his hair cut, and she's sitting in the chair reading a magazine. And she goes, Leroy has problems with split ends. Most of them split years ago.
This is what I like about the very progressive Lockhorns is it's a two-way street. The abusive lines.
Oh, no, it's like 50-50. That's what's
Absolutely,
fucking great about it.
fair fight.
And now he gets back at her. In the next frame, they're in the supermarket, and he picks up a little can that says mustache wax. And he goes, here's a great stocking stuffer for your mother.
Because she's Italian. I get it. Wait, did I read into that?
Oh, boy. Look what you put in. You put a little Family Circus in the script.
Okay. Here we go. All right. So it's two brothers. One's a baby. And then, of course, the redheaded one walks up.
Mike, it's Billy. It's fucking Billy. That's the kid's name.
This fucking kid walks up. So he walks up holding two pieces of drawing paper, right? And the little baby's on the floor holding crayons and has papers all over the floor. So clearly the redheaded older one he's picking up the paper and he says, "You didn't draw anything, PJ. This is just scribble scrabble." Okay. First of all, what a dick. I see
where this is going. Yeah.
What a dick.
Yeah.
And then are we seeing one of these Keens, either the dad or the son? Like, it's starting to sink in. Like, you know what? I'm the baby. Yeah. And even this fucking asshole brother is calling me out that I didn't draw or write anything. It's just fucking scribble scrabble. And for some reason, I'm being enabled by newspaper syndicates to just fucking handing in scribble scrabble.
It's the only time I've seen Billy angry. Look at his eyes. He's fucking scolding him.
He's a dick. Yeah, there's no redeeming. By the way, of course this isn't funny at all, and I don't even know what it's trying to say.
Well, you didn't draw anything. This is just shitty shatty. This is crappy crippy.
And, like, he has a crayon in his hand, too, and he's holding a better drawn thing, and it's like, it's a heart and there's flowers, but like, so would it have made sense if his were more scribble scrabble also, but his aren't?
No.
His are real. I don't even get this thing.
No.
As usual.
No. It's, I think it's Jeff Keen. Yeah, he's definitely having a crisis of conscience. I think he's rethinking a lot. Now, granted, he'll get over it. Believe me, the check will come in the mail, and whatever little blip this is in his integrity will go right by.
Maybe let's give him credit. This is a multi-layered think piece because he is over it. He sent this in. It's commenting on itself.
Right. It's a little wink. It's a wink to the people that know.
Honey, not only am I going to shit one out again, I'm actually going to have one of the fucking little brats call my work Scribble Scrabble. Yeah, I'm actually going to announce it, and let's see if the fax machine all of a sudden fires back do you have anything else?
Yeah.
Because that's never happened.
Yeah.
All
right, let's get to... I was curious because a lot of people write me about the origins of Blondie, and that originally he was a swinging bachelor, and she was like a flapper. She was like he was like a moneyed gentleman, and she was a flapper.
Look at the body on her.
So this is I found the very first Blondie comic strip of all time. So he's in a tuxedo, Dagwood, and he walks in, and his father, who looks like like a Vanderbilt or that type of guy, or a Rockefeller, and he says, "Hey, Pop." He goes, "But son, I'm awfully busy. I'm working on the plans for this new merger." Dagwood says, "But Pop, I want you to meet Blondie. We're engaged, you know." Blondie comes in, and let me tell you something. Holy fuck. She is lanky and long, lithe. Her body is... and she's got
bodies like that back then?
I mean, my God.
Marilyn Monroe wasn't like that.
Full on flapper outfit. And she says, "This is Blondie, Dad. She's awfully bashful and shy. You'll love her." Blondie then looks at the old man, the rich old tycoon, and she goes, "Oh, tee-hee, I always feel so boop-boop-a-doop when I first meet my boyfriend's papas." And then she puts her arms around him and goes, "But I usually like them better than the sons. Can I call you Pop, Mr. Bumstead? Tee-hee."
Rubbing his stomach.
Dagwood, the fucking cuck, says, "Now, come, Blondie, we must go. Dad is awfully busy. He's working out the new plans for the merger." And then Blondie now puts both hands on his chest and says, "Oh, Pop, if you aren't the terror, what are you going to do with your old wife?" And then Dagwood goes, "Isn't she cute, Dad?"
I don't even know what's going on here.
I think in the original conception of Blondie, she's a fucking gold digger, and Dagwood's a cuck.
So, is her skirt see-through?
It seems to be see-through, and she's got on these high-heeled shoes with ribbons on the front, and the breasts are not. I think she's got to be 16 because the breasts are not fully in yet.
It's like lingerie.
Yeah. Smoking on. If you want to see it, go to the website. SundayPapers.net. Also watch the show on YouTube. Do us a favor, folks. Go to the Apple Podcasts and leave us some nice comments, or at least stars. I think that really helps our ratings, keeps us up in the ratings. And
your friends don't have to listen. They just have to subscribe, right?
That's it. Get the subscriptions going. And we want to thank you guys for all your contributions. Great logo and song this week. And Mike, anything you want to plug?
I don't know. I guess after I buy these mushroom stocks, everyone buy mushroom stocks.
Buy some mushrooms. Go to Portland. I'm going to be in Portland in the spring. I'm doing some fucking mushrooms up there.
Ooh, I'm very excited. I will plug this, I guess. Well, what's his name returns, which I'm kind of looking forward to. John Oliver on HBO. I think it's this Sunday.
Was he on a break? Yeah, it did. It did premiere Sunday. Yes.
A long break. He went out mid-November or something bullshit.
No shit. Wow.
It's like, geez, we could use that commentary. Anyway, and as you know, I like his show much better since he's been in his apartment. He yells a lot less. Anyway, also the finale of Your Honor on Showtime is this Sunday. So all 10 will be out. Perfect bingeable series.
Yeah, I'm going to need your password for Showtime because I just dropped mine.
Okay. I will look into that. Let's see. I wonder if they limit with how many. I'll look into it, but you got it.
All right, and thank you, of course, to our producers, editors, social media, savants, Mid-Coast Media, Chris Denman and Beth Hoops. You guys do a fantastic job. We thank you so much.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Take it ish.
Take it ish.
Mike Gibbons locked in the closet all night and day. And Fitz is locked in the back house. You know you gotta find time to masturbate. Hey girls, can I borrow a towel? That's why it's easy. Too easy. That's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday paper. You know that orange bomb's at an office, that piece of shit. But is he gone for good? Don't count on it. You know we almost lost our minds the other day. Oh, fuck it. Right? Yeah, you're right. It's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday paper. It's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday paper. Blondie, you're so hot, so hot. I wanna touch your dimples like a knife. And daddy, you're a piece of shit. And Blondie, I want a piece of it. I love you. It's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday paper. It's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday paper. That's why I'm easy. And you like Sunday paper. I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday paper.